Welcome to another episode of Latinas Be Like Us. I have a very special guest today. Her name is Marla. She was born in La Ceiba, Honduras. And as an Afro-Indigenous woman who grew up in modern circumstances with her single mom working hard to provide for her children, she went through a lot. And she's here to share with us her story. So why don't we just get into it, Marla?
Hi, thank you for having me. I appreciate the invitation so much. I met you on TikTok, and it's been so amazing to make contact with so many amazing women. And it's amazing to come across such eloquent, amazing, dignified woman, Latina woman.
Well, likewise, right back at you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
I love what you're doing. The fact that you're going into your master's degree. So let's talk a little bit about who you are. Let's tell the audience, and then we'll just start asking questions, after I describe who you are. Sounds good?
Perfect.
Okay.
Well, I am 44 right now. I began my journey into changing careers after being in accounting for 20-something years. Right now, I started my undergrad when I was 38. I knew it was going to be a long road to become a mental health therapist, which I was kind of scared of because, it's a lot. Right after I took a year off, because when I graduated from my undergrad in psychology, guess what happened? 2020 came around the corner. I think you were right there when the pandemic hit. So I took the year off. At the end of that year of 2020, I was pondering whether I should apply to grad school or not, which it scared me a little bit because I was like, what if I don't get accepted? A whole bunch of things, we don't feel like we often belong in certain spaces. So I was like, no. I spoke to my therapist and I was like, I belong and I'm going to take the space that I need to be in. And I applied, and I believe it was late January of 21 when I got accepted. And they're like, okay, you're going to start school the first week of April. And that's when I started in 2021. So I'm in my last few months of grad school. I should be done by August of 24. So yeah, I'm doing my last 4 classes.
Congratulations. That is amazing. Yes, we went through a lot of it. And then, I think we all went through a lot of internal changes and internal battles of kind of figuring out what we wanted to do. And so I think, the fact that you went through all of this and decided to go to school and you got accepted and you're just about to finish, that is such an inspiration. And you share with us a little bit more information about why you decided to go into therapy, right? Into this career. You were talking to me and you shared in your bio about how you became a teen mom at 18. And that was a huge challenge, but you're still together with your partner. And that is an amazing journey because you're young. In a lot of instances, a lot of families that start so young, they haven't really matured enough, and then they realize that they grow apart. So at 18, you became a mom. How was that experience?
I fell in love with my little baby. She's 25 now. I am so thankful for her because we really grew up together. I wish I would have been more prepared to be a mom at 18. I wish that my mom would have spoken to me a little bit more about mental health, being prepared, being ready, but that wasn't the case at that particular moment. It was really difficult because I thought that I was doing the best job that I could, and I did. I'm past the feeling guilty. I had to go to therapy for many years because I felt guilty for a very long time, thinking that I didn't raise her the correct way, that I could have done better. We always think as long as we could have done better. But being the fact that I was coming with so much trauma from, my childhood and my teens, it was difficult to navigate. It was really difficult to navigate and say, okay, I did a good job and accept that I did a good job. Now I see it different. I did what I could. I had the tool. I didn't have the tools, the correct tools to raise a child, being myself still a child. But, we heal and we move on and try to do better. So I learned that from there on, I couldn't do anything in the past, but now I'm doing better, for my children and myself, obviously, because if you're not okay with them, you can't pour from an empty cup. So I started healing, going to therapy, and I've always had a good relationship with my children, but you always think as a mom that you could do better.
So where was that guilt coming from? Was that coming from your mom, or was it like, did you blame your family for something, and did you know that you were just portraying that guilt?
Yeah,
how were you able to get through and pass beyond all that?
Let me tell you, it was a lot of healing that had to be done on my end. A lot of talking, a lot of opening up, which I didn't know how to do in the past. I was really closed off. I didn't talk about my feelings. I didn't talk about anything or anything that I was going through with anybody, and that was difficult and this is how I start going to therapy. My husband was the main individual that motivated me to start to go into therapy, because he started going to therapy once he exited the army back in 2013. When he exited the army, he was not doing very well. Obviously, they're used to certain ways of life and PTSD and all these things that the army men and women go through while they're in service. So once he starts therapy, I was like, oh, then we started going to therapy as a couple. And I was like, oh gosh, we have a lot of work to do. Yikes. So ever since 2013, we've both motivated ourselves to healing. It has not been an easy road, but going to couples therapy and going to our individuals therapy to heal our own individual issues. But yeah, I did blame it for a very long time on my upbringing. I don't feel like my mom was the most supportive individual when I was growing up. By the way, I've healed those wounds and those mother wounds. Lately, we've been talking a lot about mental health. I opened up to her and I told her everything that I went through and everything that I felt like was that had affected me at the moment, and I brought into my adulthood. And, we forgave each other. We're working on a better relationship, talking more about our mental health. But yeah, I did blame her for a very long time. And she was at fault. And, she was like, yeah, I know, she told me recently, I forgive me for not being that mom that you needed, So sometimes we need to hear that as adult children. And I myself have passed that on to my children. I'm like, hey, guys, call me out on my BS if you need to. Let me know what I did wrong. And I apologize for whatever you guys don't want to tell me. Beforehand, if I wasn't the best mom for you when you were growing up, I apologize for that and for giving you whatever trauma that I gave you, And we talk a lot about mental health with all three.
That is so beautiful. That's so beautiful that you were able to forgive each other, first of all. And the fact that it was your husband who came and suggested that you go to therapy, because statistically and historically, that is not the case for a lot of men. Let me ask you, is he Latino or is he?
Yes, he is. He's from Nicaragua. Yeah.
He's from Nicaragua. And so that is even wow, because Latino men, that is not something that you do.
No, and he has done a lot of work on himself as well, because he comes from another traumatized, childhood. He saw a lot of things that he shouldn't have seen, aggression to women, alcoholism, and all these things that, it's like, how do you bring two broken kids together so young? So we ourselves had to do a lot of healing, and we're not done. I don't think we're ever done. We keep learning, we keep modifying and learning better coping skills, improving our mental health also, because when your mental health is not okay, you're going to react a certain way, correct?
Right.
So, if you're not there mentally, if you're not regulating your emotions, forget it. There's no trying to be, I would say, not normal. I was trying to say,
I mean, I think
it's like
you said, it's an ongoing journey. I don't think it ever ends.
Yeah.
I know, because we're human and we're always going to make mistakes, but the more we're aware of things that we can prevent, or how it's important to have channels of communication, heal about the past. And it sounds like both of you were there for each other. And
yes.
It's a lot that you went through.
Yes.
That, and I don't wish that to younger kids to have to, married and have children that young, but it ended up working for you. You had each other's back. And
I think the most important part in this whole journey is the fact that we always worked together. It was that, even though it hasn't been perfect. There's been a lot of ups and downs because people are like, oh, you guys been married together. That's goals. Well, yeah, it is kind of goals, but it's not kind of goals, because there was a lot of damage done on both ends. I also have my mental illness where I suffer from, I just got diagnosed earlier this year. I have bipolar depression. I have severe depression, anxiety, and those are things that I had been dealing with my whole entire life because of my trauma, and I didn't know any better also. So we all have to take accountability for our own mental health. It's not an excuse, but we have to take that accountability because, our mental health, when it's not okay, we're going to act certain toxic, if you want to call it, ways. We're not going to act as, when someone's healed, and how we react, how we talk, how we behave, how we treat others. And yeah,
absolutely. And I think that's where your journey towards mental health started, right?
It's been such a long road.
Yeah.
It's a difficult road because healing sometimes, and not sometimes actually, we'll just say it's harder than staying stuck in your trauma. Because you go through...
That is so true.
You go through so many ups and downs. You feel like you're healing, and then boom, you fall back into depression. And then you find out another part of you that needs healing. And it's just these ups and downs. And mind you, I'm bipolar. So I already had these ups and downs going all the time. And even healing for me, and my experience was hard, was difficult. And having all these ups and downs for the past. I started therapy in 2018. And this is why I started therapy. My husband was going to therapy, and my husband brought it up to his therapist. Hey, and my wife wants to become a therapist. And she said, well, if she has a lot of trauma, like if because obviously he's going to speak about me in therapy. And she was like, well, she has a lot of trauma. She needs to go to therapy. She needs to heal herself so she doesn't transfer her trauma onto her clients. And not, because also, when you're giving therapy to others, there can be transference and just ways of adapting, not being able to manage the trauma. You're also trying to help others heal. Yeah. So there's a lot of transference there.
There's a lot of energy transference.
Yes. So that was one of the reasons. Yes. And that's why, and, my husband has always been a number one supporter. Despite all the stuff that we've gotten personally in our relationship. But I don't think any relationship is perfect. But when you love each other and you work together, it seemed to work for us. Yeah, I don't know if I said.
No, I mean, a relationship is all about that. It's all about working together. It's listening to each other. It's admitting mistakes. And the fact that you are now aware of your mental illnesses, the fact that you're taking care of yourself, that is so important. I have in my family members with bipolar depression. So I know how that being diagnosed and following the regimes and, having support in your family is so important so that you can continue your life because you can. You absolutely can.
Yeah.
Wow. So it's been a journey for you. Not only you went through school, you were diagnosed.
Yes.
How were you able to balance all of that?
I don't know. I don't know. And it was even harder because through COVID, that's when I actually started healing the most. And I also have been, I had a hysterectomy right there in 21. So my healing has taken terrible. And I'm going to say this, and it is what it is. It has been a terrible experience healing because all of these things plus regular life going on, life changes, also having family members that had passed away, and one after the other. And so I know.
It's a lot.
It was a lot.
It shows to prove that humans can be resilient no matter the traumas, and that is inspiring. I mean, it's heartbreaking, and yes, we all lost so much during COVID. Some more than others.
Yeah.
And seeing family members just go one after the other, that can be very traumatizing.
It was traumatizing, but how you said resilience, and it really is disheartening that you have to say resilience when you're going through all these hard moments. But that's the only way to come out of it. That's the only way. It's heartbreaking, but that's the only way.
Yeah,
you have to be this strong woman, take it all in, and just try to survive till things weather out. It's like being stuck in a bad storm.
Yeah,
and being a boat in the middle of it,
And it's funny that you say that women have to be strong because, in our culture, even though there is a lot of machismo, there is also expected from the women to be strong, right? To be there. You have to take care of the children, and you have to be a good mom, and you have to do all this, and you have to do maybe not necessarily like strong masculinity, but strong, like feminine motherhood figure.
Have that feminine energy that you need to have. It is very exhausting. It is. The good thing that we had to do a lot of machismo in my own marriage. I would tell you, my husband wouldn't pick up a broom for the life of him.
He wasn't taught.
No, he wasn't. And he tells me all the time, my mom didn't teach me how to clean or how to do this. I mean, I would clean my room and organize myself, but she never asked for me to clean the house or taught me how to clean the house or how to do this or how to do that. So when you see me posting my husband cleaning on TikTok, you understand why I do it. Yeah, no, my husband is legit. My husband wouldn't even pass me a cup of water if I asked. He would tell me, no, you can get it up. You can get up and go get it yourself.
Okay. I understand. I mean, you had to do a lot of teaching with him. I don't think all women can do that. I mean, women just get tired and leave. And so that's a lot. You had a lot of patience with that man. And I mean, you both had served back, and you taught each other, basically you were each other's role models. And
yes, it was a mutual thing. We both, like you said, it was a lot of teaching each other, because there was a lot of things that I didn't do or I didn't know, or I wasn't taught, in many ways that he had to teach me. Mm-hmm. And it was like I guess it was a teaching lesson for both of us, which I don't recommend. I feel like you need to come into a marriage healed and ready and prepared perhaps for certain things. Because it can be exhausting on both ends. It was exhausting. It was very exhausting.
So what are you doing different for your children after all this learning experience?
There was a lot of.
What are you making sure now that your children know, so that they don't have to go through anything that you went to?
We teach them how to clean, how to mop, how to cook themselves their things, how to respect women, how to cater to their women at my end as a mom. I tell him, you need to cook for your wife. My son just got married. He's 21. But you need to cook. He was making her breakfast the other day, and she did dinner on the next. And just giving them advice, and, not also giving them the advice and teaching them, but it was them seeing the change in us as a couple so they can learn. Because it's not, you can tell whenever you want to your kids. Consejos se lo da cualquiera, I can give them all the advice that I want, but if they don't see it between me, the behaviors between my husband and I, and then what they learn.
Yeah,
and they saw
model.
They saw the changes. Yeah, because children, even if they're teens, they're sponges. They're still even well until. The front lobe of a child, of a teen is not developed till they're 25. So literally till they're 25, they're kids. Even not 18, they're already considered adults, but they shouldn't be, because they still don't think properly.
Isn't that amazing? And then socially speaking, they expect them to behave like adults.
And they're not.
This is
we weren't. Our frontal lobe is not developed until we are not 25 years old. Imagine that. You imagine that?
Yeah, no. It's just insane. So, you have to be good role models. I want to know. So, is it one boy and two girls, or two boys?
No, it's two. Well, It's two boys. My son, the eldest is my daughter, Ashley. She's 25. My two boys are the youngest ones, which one is 21 and the other one is 17. And they're the boys. And my husband has a child also. He's 15. So, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Oh, yeah, it is. So we have time for kids. Good. Yeah, they could. We've always taught them to respect each other, to be there for each other, to love each other. And they've seen that between, my husband and I, regardless of certain situations, that they have to live as kids. And, I always ask them again for a lot of forgiveness. And, we're just learning as we go.
So does the 15-year-old live with you or?
Yeah. He's coming to live with us now.
Okay. Well, that's another story for another time, right?
Oh, yeah.
So you mentioned in your bio that your lifelong goal, what you want to focus on is to break down barriers in fostering understanding within the Latino community of the importance of mental well-being. What does that look like?
That looks like the immediate family and teaching them and creating that awareness about mental health with them. And often I got a lot of backlash from my family at the beginning when I started sharing things about my mental health. They were like, oh, why are you sharing that? Why are you saying that? Because this is my experience.
So they see it as a taboo.
Oh,
don't talk about that.
No, I got a lot of backlash from my family, and not also my family. My husband side of the family, like, are you crazy? Why are you sharing that? Why are you saying that?
La ropa sucia se lava en la casa.
Yeah, levantas el carpet y metes la ropa sucia y la basura
forget about
piling up.
Sí.
Yeah, forget about it. We don't talk about that. It's we don't talk about Bruno. It's like.
Uh-huh.
Sí, and it's true. That's what
that is Bruno.
Yes,
that is Bruno. Wow.
Eso, los locos y los problemas se tapan. No se hablan. Forget it. Olvídalo. Lock it up in a room and don't open that room. But all the crap that we have, is going to come busting out of the door. And it takes one individual to open the can. And you're seen as the crazy one, as the black sheep, as like, why are you doing that? Why are you saying that? Why are you posting that?
But someone's got to do it.
Or are you attacking? Are you talking about someone in specific? I'm like, bro, I'm just sharing things.
Yeah. Someone's got to do it. And Marla did it.
And I was scared about doing that. And when I was going to start doing that, I spoke to my therapist and I was like, hey, I want to do this. I want to share more about mental health. I want to talk more about it on social media. Do you think it's okay? I don't want to seem like I want to call attention, because it's not to call attention. It's to raise awareness. And she's told me, you do what you need to do for yourself, for your personal healing. If that's what you want to do it. Don't think about anyone else. Just do it.
Love that. That is exactly how I feel. And I love what you're doing in social media. I love your Instagram account. I laugh about all the silly things that you share. And I think that's a really good way of helping you cope with, with things that you're going through.
I think we have to put some, my therapist sometimes might not think that, but sometimes she's like, yeah, you have to laugh sometimes and you have to find ways of coping. And if that's your way of coping, then okay, but as long as we deal with the underneath things and we talk about them.
Of course. So like, yeah, it's not like, post memes and then forget about it.
It's more funny because, a lot of people can relate to that. So
yeah.
Keep it light sometimes, because mental health can be very heavy.
I mean, we could spend an entire day or like days talking about mental health and how.
Yeah, we can.
But we're running out of time. So
yeah,
let's wrap it up. We learn about your experience as a mom. We'll learn about your experience healing. We'll learn about your experience going through school and everything that happened. What is one thing that you want our audience to take away from here?
That it's possible to heal no matter what age. You can be 60 and you can start therapy and not think that you're crazy. To go to therapy and talk to someone to help you deal with all the internal issues and turmoil that we live with, because we don't want to. We live with all that, like I said before, that we just bottle it up and we lock it up and we don't talk about whatever issues we have been through life. And it's never too late. Never too late.
All right. You heard it. You heard Marla. It's never too late. Go for it. I think, like Latino families, the Latino community needs this so much. It's so important. We really need to look at each other's trauma. We need to open up and to accept that it's okay. This is not a taboo. This is nothing to be ashamed of. And just listen to people like Marla and follow them. So where can we find you, Marla, on social media?
All my social media handle says Healing Marla. So my Instagram and my TikTok as well says Healing Marla. And you guys can follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I love to share a lot about my school, the ups and downs about my school and how I managed with my grad school days. And of course, always mental health, all types of mental health things I like to share on my social media.
Great. Thank you, Marla.
No, thank you. It was so nice to talk to you.
Of course. I'll see you next time.
Yes. Hopefully we can do this or some other time as well, my dear.
For sure.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Latinas Be Like Us. Remember to subscribe wherever you're listening, and to learn more or leave a donation, please go to our website, latinasbelikeus.com. See you next time.